Well, apparently this says that I am live. So we will go with that and see here. Um, I don't know if this is working. All right. So welcome back to the exegesis. Uh, it has been a very long time since I have used this uh, media in order to get my thoughts out there. Um, this is a no frills because when I shut down the podcast so long ago, I stopped paying for the StreamYard and um, I wasn't sure about getting back into it. But thanks to the likes of my fellow Red 5 people, uh, namely Andrew and Marisha from the Science Fictionary or Coruscant Radio Underground, uh, having a very good discussion about some rumors about Ben's solo movie, and then followed up by an invitation by the Scarif Scuttlebutt podcast with Roe and Brad. I thought, you know what? It's time to jump back in. So I will get everything set back up. I will probably pay for all the services again. That way I can do all the new Streamline or StreamYard foofy videos and whatnot that I have saved but can no longer access until I upgrade, and we'll see how it goes. Anyway, so my first topic. Well, as you can see in my title there, it says, How Am I 50? I celebrated my 50th birthday this year. And like most years, I partook in some Star Wars action. Had a Star Wars themed party. My wife had a Star Wars themed decorations and had a lot of my friends from my 501st Garrison here to help celebrate. And I watched Star Wars, and that got me thinking, or let me backtrack just a little bit. I wanted to watch Star Wars, and that got me thinking about, let me try to look at this through the eyes of a 50-year-old and see if Star Wars still holds up. So I figured, you know what? I'll do that. I'll watch the original trilogy, take some notes afterwards, and see if my impressions still are with, where I was either when I was a kid, all the way up to when I started podcasting, all the way up to now. But before we do that, of course, let's see if anyone's in the chat. And it looks like that we do have Science Fictionary, speaking of the devils right there. What's up, Andrew or Marisha or both? Thanks for stopping in. This is impromptu. I don't really imagine a lot of people coming into this. Maybe I will get views later on. I am not in this for any sort of monetization. I'm just me, a Star Wars fan, pop culture fan. And I just have opinions, and it's best if I get those out rather than keep them inside. My wife says this is a better outlet than her having to listen to it. So, welcome back to the exegesis. So what does the exegesis mean before I jump into the Star Wars talk? So the exegesis is the critical interpretation of a text, literature, theology. It's often found also in legal studies, and it's a process to clarify and deepen the understanding of what you either read or watched. So that was the goal of this channel, was we're going to take some pop culture stuff. we're going to do a deep dive into it and give our opinions. So I don't know how often I will do this. Probably at least every couple weeks or so. I don't know exactly what date I will do it on, but I will get back on Twitter. I'll start building up a fan base again, possibly. And I use fan base very lightly because I don't think there's really too many fans that are out there. But, it'll be all right. Oh, man. And here's our good friend, the Dingus Den. Appreciate you popping in and saying hello. But yeah, so we will look at different things, specifically Star Wars, just to get our feet back into the game. It's what I know best. So I sat down the evening of my birthday and watched the first one. Then the next day I watched Empire, and then the next day I watched Return of the Jedi. Of course, as any good Star Wars fan would do, you start with the original trilogy and you go from there. Nope, can't stay long running a D&D game. Well, good luck on your game. Yep, have some fun. If you're playing, roll some 20s. If you're DMing, he's running it. So, you know what? Throw in a couple of natural ones in there too. Just to give your players some sense of achievement. Anyway. So I guess we'll start with which ones I watched. Well, I had to watch the ones that were on Disney Plus. Unfortunately, the originals are so hard to find. I have them on VHS. Well, actually, no, I don't even have the originals. I have the ones that came out in 1996 or 97, right before they released them back into theaters. But I do not have a VHS player. So it's all right. And I don't have laser discs or I guess the only DVD player or Blu-ray player that I have is my PlayStation, and I didn't watch them on that. I just watched them on Disney Plus. It's a lot easier to stream it on there on the large screen rather than having to dig through and watch it on a small monitor. That way I get all the gloriness of the surround sound and whatnot. Yeah, I think so too. 97. Oh, yes. Yeah. And then if I remember right, they came in two different packaging. So I believe the silver was the regular screen, and then they had the gold box that was widescreen, which I always prefer widescreen. I know some people don't like the bars on the top and the bottom, but you got a better aspect ratio on the widescreens than I don't like pan and scans. It makes me dizzy. Anyway, so popped it on, had the surround sound on, and of course, when the music starts, the logo flashes up. Even at 50 years old, it still I was giddy. It there's something about the flash, the orchestra coming in, and you know that you're about to go on an adventure when it starts up. And the more I watched, the more I got more into, I guess, the dialogue and the character interactions than just the action on the screen and the general overall plot of the movies, um, which I thought was interesting because I never really I could sit there and watch a scene and dissect a scene, but the more I watched it, the more I got into the character interactions, how they worked together, rather than just watching it, shoving popcorn down in my face and just like, ooh, where are they going now? Ooh, oh, go look over here. And even knowing what to expect, you still get that same lost for words. See, told you it's been a while. My viewpoint has narrowed to and it wasn't like it distracting. It was just I noticed different things. I noticed posture. I noticed, especially with Leia, just the aggravation and the irritation of probably even needing to be rescued. And I got more into that, even though the dialogue is a little clunky. But it brought a whole new aspect and enjoyability to the movies. And speaking of the other devil group that brought me back in, there's Ro from the Scarif Scuttlebutt. And some of the things that I still find myself amazed with Star Wars, that 48 years old, and I'm watching the scenes, and I know that a lot of those are matte paintings. And you can't tell. They were so well done and blurred the lines of reality versus just on screen. It's still astounding. Now, I will have to say that the newer releases are not the best, in my opinion. I know Lucas said that, I wanted to adjust it because this is closer to the vision that I had. His vision was so good to begin with that it almost messes up and goes too far into it. But let's see, yep, there it is. Kudos to Industrial Light and Magic. I mean, it's just, it's crazy, the skill that these guys had and the pressure that they were under to complete this film. And I know there's been many interviews where Lucas was like, oh man, just throwing his hands up. He's like, all right, this is never going to get made. And for it to all come together at the end with the editing and everything was just absolutely, amazing. So beginning to end, even when you hear the last fanfare and you watch all the credits and everyone gets their medals except for Chewie, it's just it's a timeless classic, and I'm just so glad that I'm still able to watch it almost with new eyes when I see it. There was a period of time where I was like, all right, I'll watch it, but I'll put it on in the background. And I was mainly just, I enjoyed it. So the music, and you hear the dialogue, you already know what's going on in your head. It was almost more of a distraction than anything. to get some other task done. And I almost stopped, I don't want to say caring about it, but the love that I had for it was kind of going away. Especially after the sale and some of the things that they had put out. I found it hard to go back and watch it with fresh eyes. So I was glad that I was able to look at it and just take everything else away and just watch the movie and try to enjoy it for once. And yes, Ralph McQuarrie, Ellen Shaw, Pangrazio. It just, yeah. It would be so interesting just to have a talk with Ralph McQuarrie when he was coming up with his designs. What was in his mind to come up with some of the things that he did. And it's just, I don't know. As a used to be artist, I don't do art much anymore. I still draw from my work, but that's just math and straight lines, doing drafting work. But I still love to look back at the art of books, and especially the original trilogy, and see how his thoughts and then what they transformed it into to make it where it actually work on screen. Absolutely well done. The beauty of Star Wars, timeless perfection. The art of books are so good. I used to like the encyclopedias a little bit more, but every time you turn around, they were changing the encyclopedias, and you had to get a new Star Wars encyclopedia every year. I still have one. It was done after the prequel trilogy, before the sequel trilogy that ruined everything. So it doesn't have any of that stuff in there, but it does have some of the clone ideas and encyclopedia droids that they had in there. So I still like thumbing through that and seeing what they came up with. But the art of books, I don't care what series that it was from. And as much as I dislike The Acolyte, I still would like to see the art of book of The Acolyte. Some of the visuals in The Acolyte were absolutely breathtaking. I loved seeing... I can't remember what his name was. Manny Jacinto's character. That mask was unbelievable. The figure that he imposed in there was just absolutely amazing. I don't want to watch the show again. It's just, my daughter wanted to watch The Acolyte, and she watched it, and she was like, 13. She's like, "What did I just watch? Was that really Star Wars?" And I'm like, well, some people will argue that it's not. Some people will say that it is. All right. So some were breathtaking. Others were lightsaber whips. And then Ro and I are kindred spirits because we both I had the Devo pop into my head. You must whip it. So I watched the Star Wars. The next night I watched Empire. Now Empire is not my favorite of the original trilogy, but it was very good. And again, it was the same thing. I watched more for to see if I still had the same feelings for the character interactions, if I could follow that more than the overall arc. I already knew, you know the plot going into it, but what is something new? Am I going to pick up something new? Some of the music changes I picked up on a lot better. Hearing some of the themes that were later used partially by newer series. Some of the Yoda stuff for Grogu, slightly modified, but I was like, oh, all right. So now I see where they picked that up from here. So I picked up new things in the musical cues, the way that the characters interacted with each other. It's just a lot more of the visuals, things that are going on in the background. I picked up on and thoroughly enjoyed the movie. It's almost between the original three. It's one A, B, or C, and they're awfully interchangeable. So it depends on the day on which one I'll probably say that I like the most. But as of right now, it's still Return of the Jedi. So yeah, how does that affect me now? Yes, all three movies. Return of the Jedi, another. The third night, my wife's like, "Are you really watching Star Wars again?" I'm like, "No, I'm not watching Star Wars again. I'm watching Return." I watched Star Wars, 2 nights ago. Then I watched Empire. She doesn't quite understand. Thankfully, she loves me enough where she'll guide me as I'm suited up in my 501st gear and can't see a darn thing. She's my handler. And she's, allows me to build things like this and decorate the house with Star Wars things, and puts up Star Wars. This was my saving grace, I think. The Star Wars Christmas decorations, which are about to go out. So, Andrew's with me here. Of the original three, favorite is whichever one I've watched close or the last, and you should have her on one of these days, Ro. Bring on the wife. That would be a great interview. Maybe I should interview your wife about your Star Wars addiction. But yes, get to decorate the house. Of course, I have half the bedroom. She has her half of stuff, mainly Mary Kay things, since that's her business. Lots of pink, lots of makeup stuff. And then I have my nerd half, which is between all my Forgotten Realms books, Dragonlance books, Dungeons and Dragons stuff, Star Wars things. It's all on my half. And then, of course, the garage is my workshop. And I brought this guy out the other day on the Scarif Scuttlebutt, and my wife hasn't told me to put it away yet, so I haven't. Only one room. Yeah, but it's probably the largest room in the house, knowing you. Where else are you going to put all that stuff? But, so I watched, the original trilogy. Still love it. Even at 50, it still fills me with wonderment. I can't hear Leia's theme and not think about my mom. Uh, that's just my mom is the one that got me into Star Wars. I know I've said that before um, on this show and just about every other show that I've ever been on when they ask me about Star Wars and how I got into it. But yeah, 77, she couldn't find a sitter and wanted to go see the movie in the theater. And I was 2, and I sat there wide-eyed and slack-jawed and watched the entire thing and didn't move a muscle. And I've been in love with it ever since. But yeah, I've debated on whether or not to go back and watch the other, maybe the prequel trilogy, and see if I still feel the same way about that. It has, out of the 9 films, the prequel trilogy has my number 8 ranked film, which was Attack of the Clones. I could not stand that movie. So I need to see if my opinions might have changed on that, especially since the sequel trilogy came out. I don't necessarily have a problem per se with The Force Awakens, but for Rose's benefit, Ruin Johnson ruined The Last Jedi, and they tried to make up ground with The Rise of Skywalker and kind of put everything into a blender. And yeah, it just kind of, so I'm going to have to revisit my rankings, but that's all right. So I don't know what else I want to talk about tonight. We do have, some stuff that's getting ready to come out. Starfighter's coming out. Mando and Grogu's coming out. We talked about this on Saturday night on Scarif Scuttlebutt. So please, if you hadn't seen the Scarif Scuttlebutt from Saturday, go check it out. It was a great time. We talked about the rumored Ben Solo movie, and good idea, bad idea. Definitely go check that out. Just to recap, I don't know if it would be a good idea. I think most of us would probably prefer to, talk about the financial impact of the banking clans and whether or not they actually had a legal claim to the blockade of systems in the Outer Rim. But that's for another topic for another day. And for those that might not be able to see all the comments, I ripped that right off of Rose's comment there. I'm sure I'll rip this down and put it out on audio version as well. So, yeah. We definitely need to have a conversation between the exegesis, the Scarif Scuttlebutt, and Conversations. I know that this has been brewing for some time, and it's a topic that needs to be addressed. I mean, the banking clan definitely overstepped their boundaries, legally speaking. And if it wasn't for some meddlesome senator, saying that he'd make it legal, it is what it is. We should all do it drunk. We should, yes, yeah, definitely. We'll all do it drunk. See Ro take on that topic and just voice it. That would be a fun roundtable to discuss. I absolutely think that would be absolutely amazing. I know that, man, we got Ahsoka season 2 coming out next year. I guess I'll have to rewatch season 1. Maybe I'll do a recap on all that stuff in the that came out on Disney Plus. I'll have to look back and see what the last podcast that I did for Exegesis, and then try to recap everything there. I did watch season 3 of Visions, and I liked it. I really, man. And again, I really wasn't even paying attention to a lot of the plot. I was so floored by the art styles that they chose to represent the stories, and were just so well done. I need to watch it again and really pay attention to the plot. But once you start watching it, and the art is just absolutely fantastic. Ro says that he's going to try to tackle that tonight. Let me know what you think, Ro. I really enjoyed it. I don't think it's my favorite of the seasons. I still think I liked the first one, probably in order. Second one was pretty good. I think the art is better in 3, but the storylines were better in the first 2. But I mean, that's just my opinion. So, but yeah. So I am on Twitter. Let me pull that up, or X, or whatever you want to call it. It's at Red4Charlie. Now I am going to start posting more from the channel on there. If you have a topic that you would like for me to deep dive and cover, Star Wars, pop culture, banking clans, whatever, send me a message on Twitter. I'll get it. I'll prepare it. I'll even try to have you on. So, and we can talk about it together. That would be fun. Sometimes when it's just me talking, I tend to repeat myself. When I have someone to bounce the ideas off of and get further input, the conversation definitely goes longer. And as of right now, I'm only been going for 30 minutes, and I'm about out of things to say. But for my first go around, my first round back, I think that this is a good place to end it. So, in closing today, check out the Red 5 network. Let's see. I don't know if this is going to work. All right, let's see. Bio links. Some of this stuff does work. Oh man, see, I didn't even check this out. We already did the welcome. Man, it's fun to see the things that you can find. All right, so bio.link/red5. And I don't know if this is still active, since I kind of biolink or bio.link/exegesis. I'll have to see if that's still working or not. Oh wow. All right. So just for funsies, let's see. Acolyte. Oh wow. All right. So this was a Acolyte. These are all the banners that I had on. Patty Jenkins back on. All right. Well, this is back in the news. On again, off again for Rogue Squadron. I had Avengers changes its name. I have no idea what that was about. X-Men 97, March Madness. So this would have been, oh, wow, March. 7-8 months ago. Interesting. Oh, I gotta get that off. All right. There we go. All right, back to the comments. All right. Yeah. All right. So yeah. Hey, folks, I'm back. Join me in further episodes, probably here in the next couple of weeks. I'll send out an announcement. Maybe I'll tackle the prequel trilogy and then go from there. Oh, here's where did it go? First time noticing one of my videos. Well, welcome in again. This is the exegesis. Normally I go for about an hour or so, but this was kind of impromptu, just to test out the waters, to see if I still enjoy it. And I do. I love talking about this stuff. Darn row, yeah. Hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll definitely be back for further adventures next time with all my intro, outro videos and all the bells and whistles. We'll get that up and running. I'll have everything up to snuff per Red 5 standards. Yeah, yes, yeah. So I know. Yeah, if I leave, Dro always manages to track me down. But yes, thanks to everyone that was in the chat. If you just joined in late, go back, rewatch it if you want. Again, I don't try to get hours in. I'm not trying to get monetized. I do this for fun. Hopefully everyone enjoys it. And yes, powered by Red 5. We are Red 5. And of course, hashtag Red 5 family. Until next time, folks, may the force be with you.